Good morning. And you know what? We are right on time. It is 8:15. Welcome to Talent Talk. I am Davina Clarity, and we are just happy to have you joining us today, along with my buddies that are in the house, just not my house. We'll start with Steve Chung.
Good morning and happy Monday, everybody.
We need some music, right? Let's, for our man, our boy, Mr. G, Jurgen Robinson.
Boy.
I need to be in the middle. I feel like I should be in the middle. You know, anyway, it's all good. How are you guys doing?
Bueno. Well, as good as I can do after watching Sunday Night Football. I'll say that much.
Oh yeah, I saw the end. It was a overtime and didn't make it.
It shouldn't have been overtime. Shouldn't have been any of that.
Yeah,
that was a crazy game. Good game.
Yeah, Jerry was like running around, screaming, hitting the TV. I was like, "What is wrong?" Yeah, okay, I get it. Oh gosh. Anyway, well, you know, we have an exciting episode today. We are going to be talking about real estate photography, actually. So, and we have a guest on today, and we have a trivia question before we get into that regarding real estate photography, don't we?
We do. We always got a little trivia kind of leading into our guest. And today's trivia question is, what percent of home buyers, according to Realtor.org, use the internet as part of their home search? Is it A, 38%, B, 67%, C, 75%, or is it D, 92%? How many people actually use the internet for their home search?
I was thinking about 5%, but I don't see that answer on there.
You know, we know this answer because we talk about this all the time in our listing presentations as well. So we know this one.
Yes, common sense will lead you to the answer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no one should get this one wrong, guys. No one should get this one wrong. It's easy.
All right. Well, you know, without further ado, we do have a guest with us, and what we're going to be covering and we're going to be talking about today, like Davina mentioned, is videography and photography as it is concerning real estate and all those different things. So if you actually have any questions, drop them into the comments as well. But what we want to do is introduce to you Scott Manthey. He is the founder and CEO of Image Arts. He has been doing this. Image Arts has been around for 12 years. He's got 14 photographers, 27 staff. He is FAA Certified sUAV aerial specialist, and he is fantastic. Are you guys ready to welcome Scott?
Yeah.
Welcome, Scott Manthey.
Wow, that's quite the intro. Hi. You guys are so full of energy this morning. I
haven't had my coffee yet, so just
I didn't know. I had my pumpkin cookie, but that's it. I'm super pleased to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, really excited. Real estate photography and videography. I mean, at one point we'd just say photography, but it's really grown. Yeah. So really, you know, the first question is, you know, with Image Arts, what services, Image Arts, imageartsphoto.com, what services do you actually provide to the real estate industry?
Well, it's interesting. We actually changed the name. We started as Image Arts Photo 12 years ago, and we switched it up. This is my wife in the background who's doing some work, by the way. We switched it up because we did so much more than just photography, and we felt like we needed to call ourselves something else. And we, after probably way too long and way too many choices, we switched it out to Image Arts Pro or Professional because it worked. It kept our acronym the same. You know, IAP still worked, but it really did talk about Image Arts Productions, about all the different things we do, which has gone so far past stills photography. That's probably only maybe, I don't know, it's still probably 60% of what we do, but we've really expanded past that in a much bigger way. And so we do video, lots of video. We do, 3D. We do interview kind of stuff. We basically take, we do headshots. We take whatever it is that the real estate industry, we're really specialized in that. Although we do have some clients that are outside of real estate. We take everything that we feel like people need or could need in the real estate industry, and we pretty much do it. So as we've been expanding our portfolio of things, we just keep exploring what's the latest, newest thing that we're going to need to do. And on that note, about a year ago, we started messing around with these 3D tours. We had always done Matterport, but these less expensive, simple, Zillow 3D tours, and it turned out that was like the next big thing. We were about 3 or 4 months ahead of it. Of course, who could predict the why that happened? But now we have 8 of those cameras in the company, and we're all over the place with them. So it's been we shot 500 of those this year so far. A little over 500.
Wow. Talking about like expansion and growing, what areas do you service and cover?
Well, we started as a kind of Burien to Puyallup company, and then we've just continued to expand. So we cover everything from Marysville to Centralia at this point. That's why we have so many photographers. It does a couple things. It allows us to be versatile in our, on our offering, kind of help people be, very available, and also wherever you need us, we tend to get there. So we pretty much cover all of Puget Sound. I've had some shoots in Portland.
And they're all discounted. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's a good point. There is a big variety of pricing out there in the world of photography, and it does beg the question as to why is there such a big variance. We feel like we've always sort of followed the middle of the round sort of Southwest Airlines model, where we don't necessarily, we're not the cheapest, we're not JetBlue, but we're also not Virgin Atlantic. So it's kind of a mixed bag. We try to find a happy place that helps us pay for our organization and all the services that we provide, and provide a really, really high quality product, because that's our number one thing. And but keep it comfortable for our clients.
And that actually is good, Scott, that you mentioned that. And there's, when we talk about real estate photography, and there's so many real estate photographers out there, even agents that say, you know what, I got this. I can do real estate photography. But I mean, like when you are talking about real estate photography in particular, what is the difference? Since you do all of the different types of photography, that, as you mentioned, what is specific to real estate photography that's different than knowing how to, shoot people or shoot outdoors?
Well, I could say it's a very specialty item. It turns out it's hard. William and I, my partner William, when we started this business 12 years ago, he has a master's degree in architectural design, and I was the photography teacher. So for me, when we got together, I felt like we had, and we were both real estate agents. I worked for a builder. He worked for a new construction and out of an office in Burien. And so we kind of had this blend of knowledge that we thought was pretty unique, because he understood architecture like most don't, and I understood the art of it. And so together, he showed me how to shoot stuff. And I think one of the number one things is getting everything level. It sounds very simple, but I look at pictures all the time still today with your 92% of the people looking at their houses, and stuff's crooked, it's dark, the toilet seat's up, there's dishes in the sink, Jergens upside down. There you go. It's exactly the kind of problem. The windows are blue. It looks like the house is underwater. It's just a whole bunch of things that really require a great deal of experience and knowledge to figure out how to best show off this multi-100,000 product. And it's, and with everybody kind of starting there, it's really important. It's that first impression.
Yeah. You know, one of those things, when you mentioned photography, just really specifically, you know, there's kind of a buzzword out there, you know, with HDR. Now it's been, at one point, I mean, it really was a buzzword that differentiated. Now it's almost, you have to have it. And that's one of the differentiations of what like a phone or such might do with what you do in services. With HDR, what is HDR, and what are some of the maybe more specific reasons beyond just putting things on a level or just maybe a little color correction? What are some of the other things that go into what you do as a professional real estate photographer that just the amateur really would have a hard time with?
Sure. Well, HDR stands for high dynamic range. And really what it comes down to is the human eye could see 16, a range of what they call 16 stops in the photography world, meaning from pure black to pure white. There's, you know, if you look at a gradient, maybe 16 stops along the way. Most cameras see far less than that, 8 to 10, some are 12. And so when you're shooting a house, especially if you think about a house with dark wood floors and the sun shining through the windows or dark cabinets, the camera just can't get it all. Something will be silhouetted or something will be blown out, meaning the windows will be so bright you can't see anything but this big white blob. And so HDR is a technique we use where we photograph multiple shots, 7 to 9 different exposures, and then we combine them together in software so that we really get the entire scene lit, like pretty much like you see it with your eye. And without it, you can't do that. The other thing we do beyond that is we cut out the windows. So like Jurgen's right behind him is great. We've got this kind of scene of, I don't know, it looks like maybe the Olympia waterfront down there. Mm-hmm. And you can see how it's blue. The light color is blue, and that's because the colors inside his office are more warm yellow kind of a light, and outside is a blue light. And if we were just going to take this picture and post it, you'd have blue windows. And so what we do is we go in and actually cut those windows out, and we process them, expose them, and color correct them separately, and then paste them back into, there he's, see, that's, look at those changes, and that's a big difference, right? Mm-hmm. And so we correct that independently of the interiors. And that's a process that not everybody does. And when they, you know, and getting it to look real and natural is a trick. So those are the things that somebody walking around with their iPhone or, you know, besides my kind of joking level, which is still a problem, we make the light, the colors, you know, sometimes lights look really orange, or, you know, today where we have all these different colored light bulbs, can be very challenging. Some are blue, some are yellow. You know, you go in some houses where they have different bulbs and different lamps in the same room. Getting that all to balance out and look real is very challenging because the human eye just tunes it all out. So we just make the adjustments in our brain and we don't see it. Once it's a still, it looks really distracting and out there. So that's, if I were to say, besides the skill of knowing the angles and lines and how to shoot, that number one thing is really how to process, how to make it look its best afterward.
So there is a skill to this.
Well, you know, you would hope so. Otherwise, everybody would do it, right? So I get phone calls once a week from brand new photographers that say, hey, I want to get into the real estate business. You want to give me any tips? And I'm usually no. But sometimes if they're any good, I'll say, well, but I might hire you because we are always growing. So, you know, it's not a business that you can just jump into at this point.
And Steve's got your next question, but I will say this. We have had people who are really good portrait photographers or even like sport photographers that have a really good eye for photography that take really terrible real estate photos.
Yeah, it's a unique experience, and you know, I'll tell you, if I were to go back 12 years ago and look at some of the first pictures I shot, they weren't awesome. You know, my partner had to really literally square me away and help me understand lines. And, you know, we studied Lux magazine, which is kind of our style, you know, Architectural Digest, that stuff. We had to figure out what was our style going to be and how did we want to make it look that way, and then kind of have gone from there.
Gotcha. You know, Scott, you know, talking about HDR, but beyond the HDR, what are some of the differences between like taking photos on your phone with all these new fancy phones, and they talk about HD compared to like professional photography?
Well, so the new phones continue to get better and better. It's funny, I was watching an ad yesterday in that ill-fated Seahawks game, with the new iPhone 12, they're going on and on. They have a setting in those phones called HDR. It's where the camera takes in itself multiple images and then it blends them together in its own thing. But it doesn't solve the problem of that, right behind you, Steve, had blue window. It doesn't solve that problem. It can't, because white balance, which is the technical industry term for it, the camera can only do so much, and it really requires all of that time. So we have a team of, 10 people that are in-house. That's kind of unique in itself, is that we have our own processing crew, and they're constantly studying, learning, understanding how to best process the pictures afterward. So beyond the time it takes to shoot, every house has 2 to 3 hours of hand processing, somebody going through every photo and touching every pixel to make sure they look their best afterward before we send them out. So that's really, if I were going to say, the number one difference is, presuming you could get all the lines and angles correct, which isn't always a given, getting the colors, getting it to look the way you want, because the sellers get very picky. If that pillow is the wrong color of green, it can make a difference, and they'll tell us. If we didn't get it hunter green, then they want it to be that. And so that's the thing that not everybody can really do, and that we can.
If you're like coming in and out. No, this is good though. And photography, obviously, that is foundational for real estate listings. And, as people are, searching the internet. Now, another platform that has become really important is video. And you mentioned that is another service that you provide also. So can you talk about why it's important now to really embrace that video platform in real estate?
Sure. Well, Google is the number one search engine. YouTube is number two. So video is where it's at. If social media, if you put a video on Instagram or Facebook, it gets rated by those platforms much higher. They're much more likely to be widely broadcast, widely seen. They will ignore stuff that's text only. If it has a picture, it gets a little better. If it has video, it goes to the top. So video is really where it's at, and it's what this current generation, you call it the YouTube generation of people, which goes way through different age groups, because I've certainly spent plenty of time on YouTube, and I'm 57. The idea that people are used to researching. If you're going to buy a car, if you're going to do anything, you do a search, and often the first thing that comes up is a YouTube video on whatever it is you're thinking to buy. So having that interaction, having that live video, try to go to any website, whether it's sports or anything that isn't the first page full of a bunch of videos rather than just reading. It's really changed how we see the world and how we do it. So having a video that helps promote the product and yourself, which is probably the bigger thing, because once that house sells, the stills and the videos have much less value. But what is important is the message that you send out to help with your next listing and the next one after that. It says, this is who I am, this is what I do. And it's really marketing and advertising for the agent as much as it is for the individual product that you're trying to sell that day.
Nice.
Good.
Yeah.
Good answer. Just kidding.
What's that, Davina?
I said, good answer. I love it. Video is so important, and for you to just explain the importance of that, I think it's very valuable.
Yeah, we're seeing a big time uptick of videos where the agent's in them. So we shoot videos of houses every day. I have 2 scheduled today after this. What we're seeing though is more agent intros at the beginning, where I'm actually miking them up, and they have a little script, and they're doing an intro and a call to action. They're doing some things to help promote themselves and the house at the same time, and kind of getting double duty out of that video. That's something that not everybody's super comfortable with, and we have ways to make that easier. But it's really starting to go significantly up.
Yeah. Scott, it's interesting with I remember first getting in, and when you wanted to get a high shot, like going back away from the video for a moment to step forward again, you used to have like cameras on poles so you could get those bigger shots of above. And then we started to see some drones and drone photography. And now drones are such an integral part of the whole even video process with there. And, you know, drones are everywhere. I mean, we can pick up a drone for like $59 off the shelf for kids, right?
Yeah, that was my first one.
What's that?
That was my first one. That's what I learned with.
But what you do is actually really different than just the hobbyist with drones and everything else. How do you see drone in all this photography, videography, and what you do to really create an experience for it?
Well, it surprises me how often I hear that people don't want drones added to what we do still today, because it doesn't matter if it's a 500 or 5,000 square foot lot in Hawks Prairie. The drone helps tell the story. It gives proximity. It shows what's in the distance. If there's like around here, if I get to 200 or 300 feet, you often see Puget Sound, and you can see where it is. It brings Mount Rainier into play if it's out. And people really want to see. What we find is the drone images, as we track them, get 2 to 3 times more clicks than the rest of the house, because people really want to see where it is. That matters, and it gives a view that you don't get. I mean, who hasn't been on an airplane landing in Seattle on the window seat? You're looking out the window. What does my area look like from the sky? Hey, there's my house, right? Everyone does it. And so when we bring a drone into the equation, we bring that excitement, that ownership, that personality that comes along with, what do the neighbors look like? Sometimes that's not always good. If they've got a bunch of car graveyard in the front yard next door, we maybe want to avoid that in our drone pictures. The other thing is, I've been flying drones for 6 years now. And it's a skill, but it's also a law. I mean, there's a lot of rules. Like if I'm shooting over in DuPont, I have to call the base, tell them who I am, where I am. I have to get authorization from the FAA. Not everybody goes through those steps. We do. We're 100% certified in all those things, and we follow all the rules because it's important. It's legal or not legal, and it's really all about safety. So we are trying to get the best pictures we can at the same time. Like for example, in Olympia, there's a lot of places we can't fly. I can't fly anywhere near the Capitol, Capitol Lake. All that's off limits, and not everybody knows that. And if you don't know that, you get a visit from the state patrol, or you can get big fines. And so there's a lot of things about being a drone pilot. Every 2 years I have to recertify. It's a big test process I have to go through. It's not inexpensive. And the people that don't take it seriously, can be challenging to the rest of the industry. So we were really, really on top of it here. That's probably the number one big difference. Also, the drones have really improved. We used to fly GoPros around, and the old GoPros weren't that great. And so one of the things people said about our drone imagery in the old days, they wanted it to look as good as our ground stills, and we just couldn't do it. Now we can. So everything looks, we have a fleet of 12, 11 drones, and the stuff looks every bit as good as what we take from the tripod.
Wow. Okay. Todd, you mentioned this earlier. What's talking about 3D tours? What is a 3D virtual tour?
Yeah, well, so there's actually several versions of it out these days. Matterport, most people will recognize the name. That was really kind of the first, known one. It really allows people to walk through the space at their own pace. And so how it differentiates from a video, where the video you kind of start it, play it has music going. The idea is to sort of have an emotional impact, make people kind of fall in love with the place. They can see themselves there. Matterport is really like an unlimited, infinity stills where you can look any direction and see details. You can zoom in and look at specific things if you want, and you walk through the house at your own pace in your own way. Some people don't like those 3D tours at all. If they say they make them dizzy, and most people are loving them though, and they prefer videos. Some people really prefer the Matterport and don't like the videos. It's really an interesting mix. I have agents that have us do both when we're out there because they want to capture everybody. The main thing about in the COVID world is the 360 tours were critical in the world where you couldn't do open houses. And that's, opened up again now, but still a lot of people are uncomfortable with a lot of people wandering through their house when they put it on the market. So offering a 3D tour allows someone to start at the front yard and walk through the house as if they're there. And we're seeing 200 to 600 views on these things in the first week. Think about having an open house with 600 people show up. That's effectively what a 3D tour gives you. That's really much more dramatic than just looking through a slideshow of stills that for some people have a hard time, visualizing that, right? Because it's a series of rooms and you can't really tell what the overall house floor plan layout is. When you have one of these, they get the real story of the whole home.
That's good. That's good. You've just given us a full round view of digital media in regards to photography, video, 3D, drone, and also what COVID has actually done in regards to allowing people to view properties without actually stepping foot inside, but they actually step foot inside. So that's really good. And just for the sake of time, because we really, truly appreciate you, Scott, being here with us today. When you look at the services that you provide and how video or photos and video and all of that has kind of evolved over the years, what do you see or what do you see as what's to come, in our industry when it comes to photography and video? What does the future look like?
It's kind of at this point, unless there's some new technology that we can sort of transport ourselves, somewhere, I think it's really going to be the video piece. And it's going to be more than the video of the houses. Like I said, the agent intros are becoming big. I have some agents who want us to literally follow them around the house with our Steadicam equipment and keep things smooth and mic'd and the sound really good as they sort of do a walkthrough of their own. Some of it's going to be like community spotlights that John L. Scott has so many of, which we shot several years ago. We shot like 30, 40 cities in Puget Sound area down into Tacoma so that they could have different community spotlights. Those are the things. I get a lot of requests from people that like, hey, I want you to give me a video that is me talking about why people should live in Olympia or why you should live in Hawks Prairie or why you should live in Yelm, whatever. And that's probably the next thing that's really happening is getting the agent personal. And the nice thing about that is people are kind of camera shy. Everybody's camera shy, right? They're worried about, how they look and they're worried about what to say. So the way we do these agent intros, either it's the one that's just them, doing like prepping for open house, or if it's a community version, we just do a little bit on camera and the rest is all just mic'd up in voice. We put them in a quiet place and have them talk, and we just do a voiceover so they don't have to be on camera the whole time. And I think having the agent narrate their own video without being in it is very compelling. And I think it's the way that is probably something we're going to see more and more of as we move along here.
Nice.
That's good.
Very interesting because, technology, everything, like you'd mentioned, really are changing. It'd be interesting to see if there's ever a level of augmented reality that starts to come into this as well. But, as we do wrap, you've been doing this now for 12 years, really photography, other things, more than 12 years. Do you have any fun or memorable, is there anything in your experience that really stands out, either as fun, funny, or just it's really special?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of an odd one, but I did think of we had an agent who was new into the industry, and it was their first house, and it was a house that had a tenant in it, which how that can sometimes be challenging because they don't always want the house to be sold. And this particular person had left a lot of little Easter eggs around the house for us as we were wandering around, and it was a lot of adult stuff, let's just say, that nobody really wanted to touch or really wanted to know what was going on. And so we were trying to figure out how to shoot this house and not reorganize it because nobody really wanted to participate in this particular renter's personal private life. So I think that was probably the most challenging one, because the new agent didn't know he went in, because you can't always preview the house. And we're walking around, and it was actually my wife, who's the photographer, working there, and we were all kind of red-faced and like, okay, I guess this guy really, and shooting around all this stuff that maybe you didn't want everybody to know was in there was probably our most challenging shoot. Those are the kind of things where you get those surprises that day that are kind of fun.
So you're saying that wasn't the most fun, though?
It's fun now because we tell that story and everybody kind of gets a chuckle out of it. And that particular agent has done very well for himself and has continued to use this. And that's been probably 5 years now. But it's fun to me that the very first one that he ever did had this challenge. This definitely, PG-13 plus kind of experience within the house.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. That's good. That's funny.
Yeah, I'll just leave it up to your imaginations, because really the details are.
Yeah,
I promise you don't want to leave it up to my imagination.
Yeah. I forget what NC-17. That's what I meant to say. It was definitely an NC-17 house. Let's just put it that way, and there we go.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
wow. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no,
Steve.
I think you were also just going to. We actually just got to that point, and Scott. Actually, it's been a lot of fun, and would love to have you back again. Maybe we'll just focus on one of the areas. I mean, you really do the whole area within that imaging, and I find it pretty fascinating what you do. And I know, as much as I like to pretend like I understand, especially after being out there with some photographers or videographers, think I can do it too. I know there's a skill set that you guys have that I really don't possess. So.
Yeah, it's probably, it's certainly, it might be 70-30 skill set, and then the rest of it is just the equipment. It's expensive. It's a lot of stuff to have. If I pan the camera down and you looked at the floor of my office here, I probably got, I don't even know how much in gear invested that the average person doesn't really want to have sticking around their house, and it makes a difference. So the combination of understanding that, keeping up with what's current, knowing how to have a great team behind me that's processing the photos. We have 3 video editors. That's all they do. And so, that's the kind of stuff that the average person that wants to dabble can't do it. You guys are really good at finding houses for your clients, selling their houses, writing contracts, negotiating, all that stuff. You shouldn't have to be good at taking pictures. That's our job. That's what we do. And as a percentage of the sale, we're a very, very small number, so it really does, but it has a really big impact when done right.
Absolutely. Well, Steve, Davina, anything before we say goodbye today to Scott?
Yeah. How does anyone get a hold of you, Scott, if they have questions about video and photography?
Well, we have a phone number, we have a website, we have email, we have text, we have Facebook. We've tried to make ourselves accessible via every way that people could think of it. I have people send me messages on Instagram these days. I do have a main line that we have a person whose whole job there is all day long is to answer the phone and answer emails and answer texts and schedule appointments. So we try to be super, super available. We're available 6 days a week, and we really are. Probably the simplest way is to send an email or send us a text or give us a call, whatever works best for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, if ImageArts Pro, they go to the same place. If you go to ImageArts Photo, it links you over to ImageArts Pro, just because we changed our name that bit ago. But that's a good spot. There's a place in there where you could fill out a form, and we'll get right back to you.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, Scott, I appreciate you coming in here and dropping that knowledge and just sharing with us everything that you do. It's great. We love having you. I mean,
appreciate it. Yeah, it's easy to talk about stuff.
I have to say, I learned a new word today, Scott. I wasn't quite sure. I knew what HDR was, but I did not know what the letters stood for, because I was thinking high definition resolution. We should have used that as our trivia question today.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah.
I knew.
Oh yeah.
I'm in the boat with Davina. I thought it was like
I thought it was something different. Howdy doody, right? I don't know.
Yeah. And it actually started out kind of having a bad rap when it first came out. People did it very poorly, and it looked sort of cartoony and crappy. And nowadays, we've got it dialed in where you shouldn't be able to even tell it's there.
Yeah. They used to look so overprocessed.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. Oh, someone has a question. Amy Beck has a question.
Yeah.
Do we have time? I don't want to hold you guys up. So should we?
Go ahead. If you want to answer that question, feel free.
No, in fact, it's not. It's based on the number of pictures that the people want or the services that they pick, because we've discovered way back at the very beginning, we started with that model. But we don't really, because if we talk about stills in particular, it can have some impact on video. But with stills, no, because if you want 20 photos of a 4,000 square foot house or 20 photos of a 900 square foot house, it's the same 20 photos to us. It's the same 20 photos that need to be processed, and the time and energy that goes into it's pretty similar. So we pretty much price it the same. We have packages starting at $150, and on the high end, I've got a shoot in Cle Elum and Suncadia this week that'll probably be over $1,000, because they want lots of different things that we do. Since once we're out there, they kind of want us to do everything, and they're multi-million-dollar homes out there, so they really invest in getting the full kit.
Awesome.
Yeah. Oh man, there's so many questions could ask. And I know on time wise we gotta
have me back.
wrap it up here.
We can do one. We just do one that's all Q&A next time. I'll be glad to just answer questions.
Yeah, because I even think about the fact that we could post 40 pictures, but just because you can post 40 pictures doesn't mean you should post 40 pictures. Yeah,
we were excited when the MLS went to 40 because it was really challenging to stop at 25 once we started adding aerial to everything. That meant we had about 20 pictures of the house. Well, that's miserable if you have a really nice house that's waterfront listing or whatever. And, you got to cut that down to 20, 21 pictures so you can include the aerials. Now with 40, it really does work. One of the shoots I'm doing today, it's a package we have that is a 40 picture package, including air. And it really does help tell the story real thoroughly.
Yeah. But sometimes, Amy says thank you.
You're welcome, Amy. My pleasure.
But sometimes you do have that 900 square foot home that it is going to get really boring looking through 40 pictures.
I have clients, though, that want it. They were like, I don't care. Take pictures of the doorknobs and the handles of the, I want, because they feel like somehow having all those pictures helps with their marketing. I don't know. We'll do it. Whatever they need, we'll do it.
Yeah. Right. Very nice.
Thank you, Scott.
Yep.
And and have a great day. Have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thanks. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye. All right. That was good. So, that gets us into our,
You look like a bar graph again.
I know, right? I'm down here. I need to be in the middle. Can I move in the middle?
I don't know how to do that, but.
Oh, gosh. So our trivia question should be pretty easy. As we're talking about, marketing and eyes on listings and the importance of photography. And there obviously is a reason, right?
Yeah. How are people seeing us right now?
Yeah. Hey, Christy.
Hey, guys. So you would actually be surprised in the back end polls. Not everyone got the trivia answer right. So today's trivia question, what percentage of home buyers, according to realtor.org, use the internet as part of their home search? Was it, wait, hold on, here we go. Is it A, 38%, B, 67%, C, 75%, or D, 92%? And the answer was D, 92%. I was looking for months, just like searching through all the houses. And I remember when I saw our house, I was like, Steve, this is the house. We need to go look at it right now. And you know what? Steve did such a great job. Look, I'm living in it now. So
yeah.
The internet, it's like, I'm just kind of curious to see what that 8% who's not using it. They're still getting the mail, I guess, or having it sent to them via mail.
Yeah. I remember seeing one of the stats about even with a number of people who are using the internet to do the home searches. You would, in some industries, when people have increased their usage of the internet, you've seen the efficiency or the people using those services drop down. What's interesting is that I think the measurement was like in 2002. I want to say when NAR did their polls, it was like a 64% used an agent, and that has since jumped up to like 86% using an agent. Like, even though you would think with more information available that maybe the value of a real estate agent, the perception of a value of a real estate agent has gone down, but really with so much information and needing professional help, it's actually gone up. So kind of a cool counterintuitive thing that's occurred.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. It's all about, it's not just about finding the house. It's about negotiating in the transaction. And, agents provide the access, they provide the resources, and, it's the things that are also involved in the real estate transaction we have connections to. So we're one-stop shop. Makes it easy. So.
That's right. We're here to make your dream come true.
Amen.
All right, you guys. Before we wrap up, we've got a bit of news and updates, things that are coming up this week. So this week we have our last week for Jumpstart for Real Estate. So if you're a brand new person looking to get your real estate license, want to get kind of a little bit more information on what's involved in real estate, tune in. It's Tuesday at 5:30. You can go to our webpage or you can go to our Facebook page and sign up. We also have for our brokers, our John L. Scott family, we have our business meeting this Wednesday at 9 a.m. Then also we have Forms Friday, where we dive into the real estate forms for real estate brokers. And this Friday, we're going to be covering the purchase and sale agreement, part one. There's two parts to that, because the purchase and sale agreement, there's a lot in there we need to know about. So we also have Facebook Friday coming up. We have a guest that they bring in from outside to talk about what's going on in the real estate industry and just kind of getting to know a little bit more about real estate and how it's affecting us right now. And then also on Friday, we have our market update with Jurgen and Davina. So they will cover like the new listings coming on the market, open houses, and give you a quick update of what's going on here in our area. So stay tuned. We have a lot of things coming up. We also have a pumpkin carving competition going on right now. So we have our brokers. They're going to be submitting a lot of pumpkins. If you're looking for some pictures on our webpage, you'll be able to vote on the best, scariest, most creative pumpkin. So it'll be some good stuff. Check out our webpage at John L. Scott Talent. It's not John L. Scott Talent. I think John L. Scott Talent on Facebook, and we will come up.
We'll be on Facebook. Facebook will be the best place to. Yeah. So that's good. And the cutest pumpkin. You guys, Jurgen, you guys made it out to the pumpkin patch this weekend, didn't you?
I didn't, but Donna did with some kids, and it was amazing. She was mentioning how many people were out at the pumpkin patch. It was almost unusual in this day and age to see so many people together. So it felt like a more normalized experience, but different for that reason too.
I'm surprised you weren't out there smashing pumpkins. I could just see.
No, that was a group from the 90s, 2000s.
Yeah. So, also you mentioned Jumpstart. So our last Tuesday of the month is also career night. So it'll be kind of a career night Jumpstart. So if you hadn't joined in on Jumpstart before and you're just curious about what it is and what it takes to get into a career in real estate, tomorrow would be a great time for you to jump in as well.
Yes.
No pun intended.
Right. So, all right. I guess that's it. Now it's that time again, isn't it?
I think so. Who's ready to take us home with a big B bold?
Yeah, wrap it up in a nice big bow.
In a big bow. You want to take it home, Christy?
Sure. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's Talent Talk. Don't forget to check out our events tab on our Facebook page, and then stay tuned because we will be posting those pumpkin pictures coming tomorrow. So voting starts the 28th and 29th. We'll announce our pumpkin kings and queens on the 30th. Yeah, there you go, on the 30th. And then stay tuned for Friday where we have our market update. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. You guys ready for a big B bowl in the count of three?
Yeah.
All right. 1, 2, 3. B bowl!
Vivo!
Peace out, my people.
Bye, y'all.